All right, friends. I thought that I just wanted to check in after yesterday when I started my summer adventure of trying new things and sort of looking at trying to find a little bit of my brave, but also, going through the process of what does it mean to take positive risk. And I posted out a hashtag, and I'm hoping that some of you, most of you, all of you will take a chance and do some teach brave. So post up some of your summer adventures. So just as an after reflection, yesterday the longboarding went awesome. Found my legs, found my feet pretty quick. That piece that I posted was just a short snippet. I was out there for about an hour. I was able to feel out the board. If you checked out the Periscope from yesterday, you could see that road with actually that big parking lot. It wasn't perfect. It definitely was not a perfect site to sort of test out the training wheels on the board. But I'll tell you, I thought to myself, I could have tried to find a parking lot that had fresh asphalt on it. But really, the truth of it is that, if I'm going to be on the sidewalks, if I'm going to be going over curbs, if I'm going to be out on the road at all, the roads are pretty much like that. And the nice thing about the big wheels on the board is that they can handle it. So yesterday went really well. Funny thing though, I did fall and hurt myself. And I'd say, I did a pretty good job. And if any of you are at all curious, I can DM you a picture of my arm. I scraped it up pretty bad. And, the actual fall, what makes it remarkable is that the fall had nothing to do with the skateboarding. I was actually at the end of skateboarding. I was walking back to my truck, and with the heavy rains here up in this area lately, there were some puddles and there were sort of like mud slicks on the ground. And as I was walking forward and just kind of thinking about, the other stuff I had to take care of at the end of the day and thinking about the stuff that I probably had to take care of when I got home, I wasn't really paying attention to where I was walking. I was carrying the board under my arm. I hit what was like just a greasy mud patch, slipped, and then basically my arm went backwards behind me. And I think I'm pretty sure I like hyperextended the joint and then just scraped the hell out of my arm. So I've got this big road rash up my arm and on my outside of my left leg. And it's interesting because there was a few people that queued into the scope yesterday, and they, one of the quick things that I've gotten as a little bit of a tongue-in-cheek response was a little bit about, be careful, like things that people are saying, which I know are supportive, and I know they're meant to show their care and concern for me. And the language was something like, don't hurt yourself, don't break your arm, summer's a long time. You really want to make sure that you are kind of being careful. You are 46 years old, like a lot of stuff that, though I appreciate the support, and by all means, keep showing care and concern for me. It wasn't how I was looking at this activity. I wasn't looking at it from the point of view that I was going to get hurt. Sure, it's a possibility, but it wasn't the center of my frame. And what's really fascinating is that I did end up getting hurt, but not for any of the reasons that people warned me about. I was not paying attention to where I was walking, and I slipped. And, whether or not it was as bad of an injury as if my board skipped out from underneath me or if I went flying forward, I still, kind of got home holding my arm and I get home and people are home like, oh my gosh, there was a lot of kind of distress at home at looking at my injury. So what this makes me think about, and I kind of have to take this from, I guess, a teacher's perspective, is it makes me wonder about how we talk about risk in our classroom and how we talk about when someone proposes, let's say a student proposes to me an idea that just is kind of outside of the margins of my understanding, or, a colleague when they propose an idea of some cool project that they want to work on. The language that we use in order to understand their idea is so important. Now, maybe I'm a little bit foolish or I'm just, resilient. Individuals that say to me things like, don't kill yourself when you're out on the board, or don't really hurt yourself, or be super careful. Like, I just kind of let that flow over me. But I wonder how that's taken in by an individual that doesn't have an adult mind and is still kind of like looking for some sort of a support. And when that student, let's say, comes to you and has that idea, and you lead with the language that somehow suggests it's going to flop even before it gets off the ground, it makes me wonder about what that does to the student or the individual's belief about themselves. And, there was no absolute, like, just the fact that I've tried to get back on the actual longboard, there was no causal relationship between me falling and getting hurt and the skateboard. That could have happened anywhere. And it made me think about, in the same way, we never make the assumption that just because a kid is in the classroom that they are going to get phenomenal marks in the class. We never make that distinction, like somehow just by being in the class, that they're assured that something or some outcome would happen. We always look at the details. And in the same way, in this case, me walking in the parking lot, me being distracted with the end of the day, and me not seeing that stupid muddy puddle on the ground, I wasn't paying attention to the details. And I fell. So that was my thought process coming out of it. I'm going to be off the board for a couple days because I can barely even lift my left arm. And I pretty much should wait until I have a little bit of mobility there. But it is funny. I woke up this morning definitely not thinking I woke up this morning wanting to get back on the board. I woke up this morning wanting to sort of continue my learning process and figure out how I can become smoother, more agile, more confident on the board. So thanks all of you for showing your care and concern. I do appreciate it. I'm looking forward to some of your posts about what you're going to do for Teach Brave 17. And post up, come on. It doesn't have to be longboarding, but show something that you're working on for the summer. I'm really looking forward to maybe in the fall being able to share some of this process with my students. So thanks for listening.